Hello everybody, welcome to this video where I'm going to talk about how you can make use of generative AI to become 10x developer. So we'll talk about how you can integrate generative AI into your workflow. Now today you don't need to leave your IDE and copy paste code here and there to take help from AI to boost your productivity. You can do all of that without leaving your IDE. That is what I'm going to teach you. And for learning about this, we are going to make use of this wonderful app that I have discovered called Pieces for Developers. So I'm going to give you an entire overview and understanding of how you can make use of it and integrate it into your workflow. And during the process, you will learn how it can be a game changer for you as a developer and how it can help you do things like level up your productivity, prepare better for coding interviews, manage your code snippets with ease. And all of this, yes, like I said, without leaving your IDE. You don't need to switch over to a browser or a different app. You can do all of this within the IDE. And that's what sets this tool apart from other AI tools out there. So be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so. And yes, leave a comment right now and let me know who you are, where you're joining in from, and what sort of videos you want to see on my channel. And of course, I read all the comments, and the list that I have, like of the future videos that I'm going to post, is highly influenced by the comments that I get. Yes, I may not reply to all of them, but I definitely read every comment that I get from you. All right. So like, subscribe, and comment, and let's jump right in. So I want to talk about Pieces for Developers, and what I'm going to do is here on Google, I'm going to simply search for Pieces app, and the moment you search for Pieces app, you're going to see this URL pieces.app, right? If you don't see this and if Google search results vary, then probably you can directly head over to this domain over here. But I would head over to this website and you can see this is the official website of the Pieces app. And as you can see over here, Pieces is an on-device AI coding assistant that will boost your developer productivity, and it helps you in a variety of ways. All right, I've been using this for a while now and it helps you a lot. So basically it's an AI that comes with you wherever you go to code. Okay, so if you're coding in IntelliJ, it's going to come with you. All right, it also has a desktop application. You can talk to AI. It understands the context in which you're talking because it's there on the device. It's there with you in the IDE as well. And it gives you the contextual answer. So you don't have to copy paste the code into browser ChatGPT stuff. You can make use of this and get the results right then and there. Okay. So let me go through, and if I like scroll down, so this is the welcome page. This title clearly defines what it does. All right. It's like a workflow Copilot. Right. And if you scroll down, they have a very nice video out there, and here you can read a bit more about what they actually do. Okay. And here, one of the biggest thing that I would want to highlight here. Okay. You can see. Okay, this thing over here. So normally people are worried that, hey, I'm copy pasting my code into AI and, the code is leaving my device. But actually it's not in this case with Pieces. They clearly mention on their website that Pieces stores and processes data 100% offline, keeping your code on device even while using robust AI feature. Okay. It's embedded across your workflow. So wherever you go, like I said, if you're making use of Visual Studio Code, IntelliJ, Pieces is going to come with you. All right. And it is going to have a context when talking to you, right? And you can see here is where you can make use of Pieces. So here you can see like this is IntelliJ, you have Jupyter, okay, you have VS Code and quite a few logos over here. Okay, Chrome also. So it has a Chrome plugin as well. All right. Now, if I scroll down here, you can see this is what the application looks like. Okay, and it will talk about a lot more features, a lot of features that this particular tool has. Okay, so I would advise that you should head over to the website, check them out, and what it offers to you, and whether it is useful for you all. Also, did I mention that the app is currently free right now? I don't know how long it will be free, but as of now, as I'm recording this video, it's absolutely free of cost. So essentially, you don't have to pay for an AI to help you code. All right. And you can see, like, if you hover on this plugin, you'll see all these plugins are available. Okay, like VS Code, Visual Studio, you have JetBrains, Jupyter Lab, and so on. They have the browser extensions as well. And you can see over here, these are all the features, and every feature has the explanation if you head over. So it helps you save your workflow materials, like anything you're coding, any interesting piece of code you found, you can save it to pieces, right? It's like note taking, right? And then you can have that same saved snippet into your IDE as well, and you can make use of it from there. It's that amazing. It helps you save, enrich, generate. You can generate a lot of stuff as well. Okay, so just this is the website, and this is the overview of what Pieces is and what it can do to help you boost your workflow. Now it's time that we get Pieces onto our machine. So since I'm on Windows, I'm seeing this install desktop app over here and with the Windows icon. If you're on Mac, you're going to see the relevant icon over here. So I'm just going to click on this, and you'll be taken to this page, which will talk about what are the steps involved in installing. So first step, of course, you need to download this installer over here, which I have already downloaded over here. You can see this install over here on my machine. All right. And this talks about how it will install. So whenever you install, it installs two things. Okay. One is the developer's desktop app, and other thing is the Pieces OS. All right. And you need to make sure that the Pieces OS is running in the background. All right. So this is what Pieces OS is. Okay. And OS is essentially, it's a service that will help you facilitate the communication amongst different products of Pieces. All right. So if you're using a Chrome plugin, if you're using a VS Code extension and IntelliJ extension, then that communication is done with the help of OS, and the app is an app over here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to double click on the installer, and it is quickly going to open up this sort of a window, and it will ask me for a few things over here, like it's accessing my internet, document library, managing apps. I'm fine with this. I'll say install. So this will take some time for the installation to happen. All right. And until then, we'll wait, and how much time it takes, it will depend on your system abilities. Now the progress bar finished, and I was asked for the option to do a manual install or automatic install. I'll say automatic install, and I'll see this opening up over here. Now it'll take some time for Pieces OS and the Pieces for developers to install as well. So we need to wait again. It won't take a lot of time. Now the application is installed, and it took a while, and your mileage may vary depending on the system power. All right. But yeah, it took a while and it's done. So there were two components, like I mentioned, are installed. One is the Pieces for developers application, and other one is the Pieces for, or the Pieces OS. It's not Pieces for OS, but it's Pieces OS. And Pieces OS is actually always up and running, and it's running in the system tray. All right. Now, this is about the application over here. Or we can also get Pieces to our IDE. So what I would do is here in IntelliJ, what I can do, I can come over, I can press Shift 2 times. 1 second. So it will open something like this, and you can search for plugins over here. Okay. The moment you open up this plugin window, you can search for Pieces over here. All right, and you should see this application Pieces with this logo, and you can see Pieces, save, search, share, and reuse code snippet. So I'll just say install, and this will automatically get installed onto my IDE, and yeah, it's there now. And I'll just close this, and you can see Pieces, or you can access Pieces. Okay, so ideally it should come up over here, but the mistake that I did is I installed Pieces, but I didn't hit apply. Okay, that's one of the mistakes that I keep doing frequently. So if you install anything or make any changes to the settings of the IDE, you should say apply over here at the bottom, and then you should say okay. All right, and the moment you do so, you will see that you see a welcome to Pieces for IntelliJ IDEA plugin appear over here. All right, and you can also get this to VS Code. So here in VS Code, I've opened a folder, like a project folder, and here if you see, you can head over to extensions, and here in the extensions market, you can search for Pieces. Okay, and you'll see this Pieces for VS Code, and you need to say install. And the moment you say install, you will see this icon here, Pieces Explorer, okay, which you should see on the left hand side. All right, so this is done. All right, and we have the Pieces or the Pieces app installed onto VS Code, IntelliJ, and also our local machine. So I hope you have been able to follow along. Let us talk about models with Pieces. So I have Pieces suite open over here, as you can see, and you can see that there are two options like Pieces OS and Pieces for developers. So I'll say launch Pieces for developers, and this is going to launch the standalone application. Now, Pieces is a developer productivity tool, okay, and they have a good integration with AI. All right, so like we know, AI, whenever we talk about AI, you also will hear terms like models, and model in generative AI is an algorithm trained on data to understand patterns and to generate new content based on the data. So likewise, so if you have used ChatGPT, you can select different models, and same goes for Pieces as well. So here, if you come to settings, okay, I don't see settings over here, but somewhere over here, and you'll see all settings over here. Now, under all settings, if you go to Copilot chats, you will have an option to select the model. So here is the first option over here. You can see now there are two types of model. One is on cloud. Okay, this is on cloud, and I'm making use of GPT 4.40, I should say. And you can choose whichever you like. You want Palm, you want Gemini, you can switch. You can also make use of on-device models. So if you don't want any data to leave your machine, let's say if you're working on a sensitive code base and you want to make use of AI, but since your data is leaving the machine, that is what is concerning you, then you can make use of on-device models that are safe and they do not take any data from your device to the remote server. And this may be important for quite a few people because they might be working on their client projects or some sort of banking application which has super sensitive stuff and so on, and they don't want to make use of AI just because of this thing that their data is leaving their system. Okay, so this is one small thing I wanted to mention about Pieces, that you can make use of on-device models as well. So now let me show you how you can make use of Pieces extension to generate and write code for you. So here in Visual Studio Code, I'm an empty project, and here you are going to see a tab called Pieces Explorer. Okay, and here you're going to see one more tab, which is Pieces Copilot. So Pieces Copilot is the one where we are going to make use of AI to generate and write snippets for us. So here you can see this is the first screen that you'll see. You can set context, you can set Copilot runtime, and you can even select the conversation. So if you have been using Pieces for a while, you can select a conversation that you have done previously. You can select the Copilot runtime, which means you can update the models from here, the models which you are using. And yeah, there is a chat box where you can enter your command. All right. So what I will do is I will create a file over here. Okay. And I'll create a Python file. And I'll create a Python file. Let's say I'll come over here, okay, here, and I'll go to Pieces Copilot. And here I'll say, give me some code to calculate factorial using Python. Okay, so it's going to give me code over here. So you can see right here in Visual Studio Code, it has given me the code to like write factorial, as you can see over here. Okay, and what you can do is here you have different options. You can save this code. So if you save this, this will be saved as snippets to your Pieces account, all right, or on your Pieces. So here in the Pieces Explorer, you will be able to see that particular piece of code, all right. Or over here, you have this option of run code in the terminal. You have option of insert at the cursor. So if you select this, the code will be inserted into the position of your cursor, and you can even copy this if you wish to, all right. So you can see how you are able to get this done within Visual Studio Code itself. You don't need to leave Visual Studio Code and head over to browser, open ChatGPT and paste it over there, right? You can just stay in your IDE and work over here, all right. Now you can also iterate on this, all right. So you can like tell Pieces that, hey, can you add error handling? So let's see what it gives over here. So you can see it has added error handling over here. Okay, and what I can do is I can select this and I can say insert the code at cursor. Okay, and it will be inserted. Oh, it's inserted after it is what I can see. Oh no, it's inserted properly. All right. So yeah. It works perfectly fine and there are no issues as such. You can see you can copy, you can save, you can work with it. All right. So if you need to make use of generative AI when you are coding, and if you need to generate sort of code snippets, you can make use of this over here. All right. Now this is about Python. You can even do this for any programming language of your choice. For example, if you're working with Spring Boot, let's say, and if you're making use of IntelliJ over here. Now, Pieces can be used with any kind of programming language. Of course, it's a generative AI model that's working in the hindsight. So you can make use of it with your React code. You can generate components. You can use it with HTML, CSS to write CSS classes and a bit of HTML code as well. Let me show you how the same thing works in IntelliJ. So here in IntelliJ, I have a project open. All right. What I would do is I would also create a Java class. So I'll say sample.java over here. All right. I have this class here, and over here I'll go to. Now over here you'll see these two icons. So here on the left hand side you'll see this Pieces. This is Pieces Snippets. Okay, all the snippets that I've saved into Pieces, and on the right hand side you will see Pieces Insights. So now over here on the left hand side you will see Pieces. This is a Pieces snippet, so all the snippets that I have saved so far. On the right hand side you'll see Pieces Insights, and at the top you'll see Pieces Copilot just before this notification icon. So if I open Pieces Copilot over here, okay, let me collapse the Project Explorer. Okay, you see like a similar screen like we saw in Visual Studio Code, and here you can like put in the prompt. So the prompt can be similar. Okay, can you give me some code to calculate factorial, okay, using and we can say Java over here. Okay, so this is going to like give you the entire piece of code, as you can see, and I can select this and I can insert it over here. Okay, I can keep the class name as sample so that I don't get any errors, but this is going to work. And you can even ask it to add error handling. Can you add error handling? All right, and it's going to add a little bit of error handling with try catch blocks, as you can see over here. All right, and you can see it's throwing exceptions as well. So you can make use of this and you can like see it being added over here. Okay, so isn't this useful? So any sort of code snippets. So if you're working on a Spring Boot project, let's say, and if you want to write the code to parse JWT, it is also going to give you that. Okay, so you can see over here, let me type in that. So can you give me JWT helper class boilerplate? Okay, let's say I'm working on Spring Boot and I want a JWT helper class to be generated, all right, for validating and working with JWT tokens. So you can see this particular class that has been generated. Okay, it's called JWT helper. It's got secret key, expiration time. It can generate token. It can generate subject. It can validate token as well. Okay, so this is a boilerplate code, and you can see it's also explaining this to me. All right, you can see over here, it's also explaining what it has generated, or you can understand it yourself by reading the code as well. You can prompt more and ask follow-up questions about the code that it has generated. It's like a AI into your workspace, right? That's what I would like to term it over here. All right. So yeah, that's about Pieces Copilot in Visual Studio Code and in VS Code and in IntelliJ. So to demonstrate the power of Pieces and generative AI to help you accelerate your coding speed, what I've done is I have created a Spring Boot project. Okay, it's a very dummy Spring Boot project with absolutely no code in it. Okay, it's just the boilerplate that I've downloaded from Spring Initializer. So it's a project structure that I've downloaded with Spring Web as the dependency, right? And these are the settings that I had. I made sure I have Maven, the latest version of Spring Boot, and yeah, this one dependency. I've unzipped and opened it with IntelliJ. Now over here you're seeing like this icon Pieces. Here also you have Pieces inside, but we would be using Pieces Copilot, which is the AI model integrated with the help of Pieces into IntelliJ. All right, now I'll collapse this so that we get some more room. And here I can say I have this Spring Boot project. Okay. And let's say I wish to have a simple functionality in my project that will help me print, or simple endpoint that greets a user. Okay. And I have the Spring Boot project where I wish to greet user at the endpoint. Okay. And can you help? So let's see what it has got for us. Okay. So you can see over here, it has started with the greetings controller, all right, and it is helping us, like it's allowing us to print hello. So what I can do is I can, if I press this icon, okay, like insert it at the cursor, there is no cursor and there is no file created. So I'll have to copy it. I'll have to go over here under Java and under package, I'll paste it over here. And you can see the code has been added to my IDE. All right. Now let's say I wish to make use of service layer as well. All right. So if I say this, then what it's going to do is it is giving me a controller with the service is being injected over here. And it is also giving me the service definition. So what I can again do is I can select this. Okay, I can say insert at the cursor and you can see this being added over here. Okay, greeting controller, and we'll have to add the package name, and the greeting service does not exist as of yet. So what I'll do is I'll copy this. I'll come over here and I'll paste it over here itself. Okay, greeting controller already exists. Okay, so I have to copy this. I have to come over here and I have to say paste. So you can see service is being added now, right? So you can see we have the application running, and now I can actually run the project and let us see what is the output that we get. So the endpoint is /greeting, as you can see over here. All right. And what I'm going to do is, okay, let us come over here. We can say localhost :8080, and I can say greetings. All right. Or what was it? Greeting without an S. Okay. So I added an S by mistake, and you can see hello user over here. Now I can say I wish to print date and time as well with greeting. Okay, you can see how I'm iterating, and I'm actually building a project over here, right? It's a very simple project, a greeting project, but I'm building a project, right? You can like add this over here, and you can see we need to add the package declaration. Okay. You can also tell over here, you can also mention over here, okay, from now on. So it's not giving the package also along with the code. So you can like just tell in from now on use package. Okay, this is my package here. All right, so sure, I'll use this package. So it has given you the acknowledgement as well. All right, and you can run this, and the moment you run, you should see the output over here. Okay, if I refresh, you can see the current date and time is over here. You can iterate on this as well to have it formatted well. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. You can do it and experiment with it. But what I'm trying to tell you is you can accelerate your coding speed with this. All right, you can build like a lot of boilerplate stuff and keep the complex logic for yourself, or you can take help of AI over here to help you accelerate and think through the complex logic as well. All right. So yeah, if I keep on prompting and if I keep on working with Copilot this way, it is going to set up a very good project for me in the end, depending on what requirements I have. All right. So yeah, that's about Pieces Copilot with IntelliJ and Spring Boot. Now, let's say you're working on a project and you have been given access to a code base. So how do you understand the code that you have already written? All right, there will be scenarios that you're facing difficulty to understand a particular piece of code written by some other developer. So what you can do is you can make use of generative AI over here and solve this problem at ease. All right, so what I can do is, let's say this is the code. Let's say I'm facing difficulty in understanding. Of course, this is a very easy piece of code. You can understand this, but I'm using this as an example. So I can select all of this. All right, I can right click. And here you'll see options like ask to Pieces Copilot, save to Pieces. So save to Pieces will save this code snippet to my Pieces account. And here you have more options with Pieces. So what I'll do is I'll say ask Pieces Copilot about. Okay, you can either use this option or you can copy this. You can go over here onto right sidebar where you'll see Pieces Copilot and you can paste it over here as well. Okay. But this option, like right click and ask Pieces Copilot, sounds more convenient and it's giving you a prompt as to what you like to ask about this code snippet. So I can say, explain this code snippet to me. Explain this to me. Okay. Line by line, I can say. And I can say, okay. And you'll see over here, it has started a new conversation. Okay. And it's explaining this to you line by line. All right. So it's saying this is a code snippet that allows you to do this. This is REST controller. It's an annotation that combines these things. Editing controller is doing this. So it's explaining you step by step as to what is happening over here with the code snippet. You can also ask it to explain using comments. Okay. So let's see what it will give you as an output. So you can see now it's generating comments over here. You can see. It's throwing you comments. You can see this is the annotation to indicate this is this. Okay. So you can understand code this way. All right. And you can also add comments into an already existing code. All right. So this is how you can make use of it. Another way is you can also copy this. All right. And you can head over to the app. Okay. Make sure you have selected Copilot chats over here. And here you can start a new chat. All right. And you can like paste it over here and also say explain over here, something like this. So it will start explaining all of this over here itself. Okay. So this is also an option where you can actually like understand what's happening in the code. Okay. This is via the app that's within IDE itself, whichever way you prefer. All right. And whatever you are chatting over here is being saved over here in the form of chats, as you can see over here. Right on the left hand side. These are all the chats that we are having with Copilot, and you can access these here in IntelliJ as well. All right. So in IntelliJ here, if you see this little icon at the top, if you click on this, you're going to see all the conversations. You can see, and you can switch between conversations and see what's happening. All right. And yeah, you have more options like to create new conversation, or you can like change the model as well from here. All right. So yeah, that's how you can understand already existing code that exists and it's written by some other developer or written by you some time back. So this is about IntelliJ and how you can make use of it in IntelliJ. In Visual Studio Code here, if you see here, I have a sample code snippet, and let's say I want to understand this. So here you'll see this text appear, Pieces explain. So you can click on this and immediately Copilot will appear like this and it will start explaining as to what is happening here, right? You can also say comment and it will generate the comments for you, right? You can see it's auto commenting the code here as to what is happening, and it's documenting. This is helpful for documenting, and you can accept the changes and it will add the changes over here. You can see. So it's super helpful, okay, whether you are in Visual Studio Code, IntelliJ, or whether you are simply using their own desktop app. So normally what happens is if you're making use of generative AI tools along with your coding journey, What you would do is if you encounter an error, you are generally going to copy paste the code and the error message into the whatever tool you are using, right? But there is an easy way out, all right? What if the tool itself could understand the error without you copy pasting it and without you sharing the code with it? Okay, it could automatically understand and give you the suggestions. So that's something that is possible today. So here, if you take a look at the Species app, all right, what I can do is I can come to new chat. Make sure you have selected Copilot over here. Okay, you can say new chat over here, and here you will see the option as live context is off. All right, so you have an about icon also. You can click over here and you can read more about the live context. So what live context does is it understands the context over here as to what you're doing, and you can see, you can ask it questions like what was I recently talking to Mac about, where did I leave off with my work. So let's say if you were working on something and you took a break, and after you come here you don't remember where you left, so you can ask Copilot over here, where did I leave off with my work, and it'll give you the suggestion as to this is where you were and this is what you were doing. Okay, you can even ask questions like, can you improve the performance of the method I just wrote, and all of that. All right, so there are a lot of things. So what it does is essentially it understands what you're doing, and depending on that it will give you the context based suggestions. And this is really good for improving your code and also debugging. So what I would do is I would close this, I would turn this off first. So by default it is off, so I'll turn this on. And what I would do is here, if you come, I'll just experiment and I'll try to generate error purposely. So instead of date time, I'll say data time over here. Okay, and let me run this, and I get the error. And now I can come over here, okay, and I can ask Copilot, what error did I get and how to solve it. Okay, and it will understand the context and it will give me the relevant suggestion and the relevant output. So you can see based on the provided context, this is the error that you encountered, and it will give me a suggestion. You can see it has finished generating the entire response, and here you can see it has exactly identified the error first of all, and it has also identified the line, and it has got the error as well. So you can see to resolve this error, you need to correct the typo from local data time to local date time. This is a typo that I did, and it's exactly suggesting me what I need to change, and it is giving me the updated code. So I can even copy this and paste it in my IDE, but for now I'll just do Control Z over here. But this is how live context feature works. It is essentially having a track of what you're doing, and based on that it's providing you the live resolutions. Now, interview preparation and understanding the code to solve problem statements is one of the use cases when you are looking to level up in your career, right? And this can be really helpful if you are trying to do that. So here I have the Pieces desktop app open. Now let me show you how this can be useful for preparing for your interview. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to browser, and normally you would want to solve lead code problems, right? So here you can see like there are n number of problems. You can pick any of the problems over here. So I'll pick first index of the first occurrence in the string. Okay, so this is a problem. I'll go to solutions. I'll select Java over here because Java is what I'm talking about. And here you can select any of the problems. So I'll select this one. All right. So this is a solution, in fact. All right, and I'm giving you a demonstration of Java, but this can be applicable to any of the programming languages. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of this code. Let's say I want to understand what this code is all about. So I've taken a screenshot, right? And now I can switch over to Pieces, and I'll tell Pieces to help me understand the code in this screenshot and explain it to me. So here in Pieces app, what I'm going to do is I have my screenshot on the right hand side. I'm simply going to drag drop this over to the Pieces chat. Okay. Now it is extracting the code from the image first, okay? But before doing this, remember, like, make sure you have selected Copilot chat over here, all right? And if you want a new conversation, you can have a new chat created, all right? But you can see over here, after pasting the screenshot, it has given me the code from the screenshot. It has extracted the code using OCR, right? And there are different options that it's showing me over here, okay? Now, one option is annotate code. Okay, you can say annotate over here, and what it's going to do is it is going to update this code snippet with comments over here, which will make it easy for you to understand. So you can see it has actually added this comment doc format or doc style comments, and here it has added comment on every line, which it's helping us understand as to what is happening with that line of code. Okay, and here it has added the explanation for those comments. So it has added the method documentation, variable initialization, loop explanation, and so on. All right, so this is a very good way to learn from wherever you want to. Okay, so if you are on lead code, or if you see a code snippet somewhere and you don't understand what it means, you can simply take a snapshot and you can give it as an input to pieces. Not only this, if you're watching any sort of YouTube videos, and let's say you happen to watch a coding tutorial and you don't understand what is happening on the screen, what you can do is you can grab a snap of the code, come over here and ask pieces to explain it to you. So this is one of the really good use cases to understand good solutions out there. All right. And this works for any sort of programming language. So here we saw about Java. You can even switch to Python and understand this one. That is also a use case, or that's also possible. C++, C#, give it any language, it will work seamlessly. Of course, here you also have an option to copy, but at many places you cannot copy, and that is why this matters, right? So you can absolutely do this. And the example of where there is no copy button is videos. Like you're watching tutorial and you don't understand something. So you might want to grab a snap and instead of typing, imagine how cumbersome it would be to type all of that, right? So yeah, this is pretty easy and it makes your life easier, all at no cost, right? So yeah, that's about this using pieces with lead code. So not only solution over here, you can understand everything. Okay, like any sort of submission you are doing, you're submitting something, and if you want to see whether that's the best solution, you can ask pieces to improve it. So you can even ask it, can you improve this? Okay, and it will give you some output over here. You can see certainly the current is straightforward and can be optimized for readability. Okay, so it's optimizing it. You can mention like what sort of improvements you want to see. Do you want to see performance improvements? You want to see improvements from the readability standpoints, and so on. All right, you can see there are some suggestions. What are the other edge cases that should be considered in str method? Okay, so it will talk in that context. All right, so by asking questions, you actually understand things and you learn new things. All right, so that's how you can make use of this fantastic tool. Now, what happens is whenever we are learning and preparing for our interviews, we would have two solutions of the same problem, and we might want to have a better solution from them, right? That might be the case. So if you take a look at this two-sum problem, this is one of the popular problems here on lead code, right? So what I have here is I have two solutions to this problem over here. Okay, this is solution 1, solution 2, both are written in Python. And let's say I want to get a third solution or a better solution, and I want to combine and refactor them for better performance and readability. So what I can do is I can copy this, I can come over here to pieces, and here you can make sure you have Copilot chats open over here, and you can paste this, or before pasting, you can say, can you combine both these solutions and give me a better version in terms. So I'm saying in what terms I want it to be better. Okay, so I want it to be better in terms of readability and performance. Okay, and I'll paste both the codes and I'll give this as an input over here. Okay. So you will see, certainly let's combine the readability of brute force approach with the performance of hash map approach. And what will happen is you can see over here, it has given you a better version. The hash map approach is generally more efficient with time complexity. Okay, so the hash map approach over here that you see, this one is better in terms of time complexity, and brute force approach has the complexity of this, okay, over here. Now over here, what it has done is it has combined both the approaches and it has given you a single solution, and it has also explained this to you. Okay, if you have not understood the explanation, you can say, can you simplify explanations even more, something like this, and it's going to give you a simple explanation over here, okay, step by step as to what is happening. All right, so this way you can make use of solutions that you have to improve on your coding abilities, to improve the performance, to improve the efficiency of the code that you already have. Now you might have a solution or a piece of code, and you might have it in a certain language, and you might want to get it translated to a different programming languages to see how the solution looks. So here I have a solution in Python. What I can do is I can copy this and I can tell pieces, can you convert this for me in Java? Okay, so let's say I want to get the solution or the code for this snippet in Java. Okay, so it is giving me the Java equivalent code for this Python function that I had over here. You can see over here. Okay, it has given me the exact code and it has ported that Python code into Java. Okay, and you can ask it a follow-up questions, like any follow-up questions that you might have about the code. You can also get it ported to different programming languages like C++. So you can simply say C++. Let's see if it gives. Okay, I just added C++ and it understood that I'm asking for C++. Okay, so it's giving me the output. You can see I asked for C++ and it says it looks like you might be asking for C++ implementation of the two-sum problem. So it interpreted what I want and it gave me the solution. Okay, so this way you can port codes between multiple programming languages with ease. Now, there will be scenarios wherein while working on multiple projects, you make use of a particular snippet of a code really frequently. Okay. For example, if here I'm on Google, I can search for a Java method to convert dates into various formats, right? I can select in Java here, right? So I frequently keep needing these kind of methods to convert state from one format to another. And let's say I go here on Stack Overflow and I find this snippet that I really like. Okay, what I can do is I can copy this and get this snippet onto pieces, or I can get it right here from the Chrome as well. Okay, and for that you will need pieces app Chrome extension. Okay, or what you can even do is you can go to pieces app and you can go to plugin and you can go to get the pieces web extension over here. You can click on this and get the extension. Okay, now over here you will be asked to select the kind of browser that you have. Okay, so I do have Chrome. So I'll choose Chrome and you'll be taken to the Chrome store to get the plugin. Now here, what you can do is you can simply say add to Chrome. Okay, and it will add the extension over here. Okay, and we'll have to wait for a while until it adds. And you can see here's the welcome screen. Okay, and you can see let's take your coding research and problem solving in browser to the next level. Okay, so it's connected to Pieces OS. All right, so you have Pieces OS and Pieces app installed. So it is connecting to Pieces OS, and if you scroll down here, okay, here it will show you how you can learn Pieces in the web extension. So you can see over here, since this is a code snippet and since we have the extension installed, right from here, right from browser itself, you can copy this and save to your Pieces app. Okay, or you can ask Copilot, you can even share this snippet. All right, so you can see save, share, and chat right from here. Okay, you can even discover different snippets, you can choose your Copilot runtime and so on. There's a lot of things that you can do right from this with the help of this small extension. Now what I would do is I would again visit the URL that I had visited from Stack Overflow, and here now you'll start seeing these options. You can copy and save and share or ask Copilot. You can do anything with these snippets right from browser. So if I say copy and save over here, this is saved. Now how do I see it? So to see it, I'll head over to my Pieces app, and here I am on the Copilot chats view. So you will have to switch over to saved materials view. And here you will see this date formatting with locally. Okay, you can see the snippet being added into my application, and it's available for me to use. And now this snippet can be used anywhere and everywhere wherever you will have pieces, right? So for example, if I have to give you an example here in IntelliJ, I have these pieces icon over here, and these are all my snippets. All right. And now here you can see different snippets like text, you have JavaScript based snippets, you have Markdown, you have this snippet over here for Java. So the snippet that we saved actually is over here. You can see this is a snippet, and it's automatically in IntelliJ now. All right. And you can see over here, some context is also automatically added. Like, what is the snippet all about? What is the language? So language is actually not Groovy, but actually it picked it up as Groovy because there's no classes and all over there, right? So if we select some other snippet, it will correctly identify it as Java. All right. But yeah, I already have some Java based snippets which I have saved over here. You can see it's correctly identifying it as Java. Okay, so it adds some context like tags, people, and related links over here. So any sort of related links that you might want to browse on the web. Even around, I have snippets around JWT authentication. Okay, so yeah, these are the snippets. Here you have different views, like this is the editor view. Okay, this is the editor plus preview, and this is just a preview view. All right. So yeah, these are snippets, and you can play around with the snippets, and you can keep a track of different snippets, and it automatically does the job of organizing all the snippets based on the programming languages. All right. You also have suggested snippets over here, has truthy value. You can see this is a snippet being suggested to me. All right, based on my activities. And related materials to the current selection. It's also suggesting you other materials related to what you have selected currently. So this is about IntelliJ, and also in Visual Studio Code here, if you come, okay, and if you head over to, let's say, Pieces Copilot. So this is Pieces Copilot. You have Pieces Explorer over here. Under Pieces Explorer, you'll again see everything, like all the snippets. So you can save snippets from literally everywhere and anywhere. Okay, so you can see for Python, I have just one snippet. I can select this entire thing. I can say right click over here, and I can go to Pieces over here, and I can say save current selection to Pieces. The moment I do so, you'll see that this is being added over here. You can see the snippet has been saved. Okay, you can even save a part of the entire file. So if I want just to save this much thing, I can say right click, Pieces, and I can say save current selection. You can even save current file. Okay, you can save current selection. All right. Now, once this is saved over here, okay, you'll see this much only being saved. All right. Search is also really easy. All right. So here you can search for any sort of snippet. So you can say JWT, you'll get all the snippets that's making use of JWT over here. Okay. If I say sum over here, it will give me all the snippets around sum. Okay. And yeah, I can make use of these tags as well. Okay. Spring Boot run over here. Okay. So these tags can be used for search as well. That is something that you can do. All right. But yeah, it's pretty, it helps you a lot. Okay. This global search, this saved material, you can save and organize your snippets in a way that you can use later on across different IDs in different projects. I want to talk a bit about how can you manage and organize your code snippets that you have saved. So Pieces will automatically organize your code snippets in the first go over here, as you can see, and it will actually organize it based on programming languages. But there will be scenarios like, for example, this one. This is a Java code and it's being picked up as Groovy. So I can right click and I can say reclassify, and I can get this reclassified to Java over here. Okay, that is something that I can do, because there will be possibilities like if you're picking some code snippets from the middle and you don't have the entire class file over here like I do over here. So it's picking up as Groovy, but that's absolutely fine. In major of the cases, it is absolutely right in terms of identifying the code, right? So here, if you right click, you can even make use of this option from here. You can ask Copilot about this particular snippet. So you can transform this snippet to be more readable. You can add annotations to it. You can ask Copilot what this snippet is all about. So you can say transform. So let me go with the hint itself. Transform this to be more readable. Okay, let's see how it behaves. Okay, so you can see it started making it more readable. You can see the code is formatted more. Okay, it does not have a lot of code, and that is why it just formatted it to make it more readable. But yeah, this is one option that you can do. You can create shareable links. You can add annotations over here. Okay, you can add links. Tags, meaning you can add tags so that you can search it later with those tags and so on. You can even edit the snippets here. Okay, these are completely editable if you wish to. And when you, okay, I just pressed comment accidentally. But if you save this, it will get saved into the snippet with pieces. Okay. And yeah, these are all the options that can help you manage and organize your snippets. And you'll find similar options in IntelliJ as well. So we were in Visual Studio Code, but here you can also reclassify, you can edit the description, rename, edit, and you can insert a caret, like you can start editing and so on. All right. So yeah, this is about a snippet management with Pieces. If you have a important piece of code snippet with Pieces and you want to share it with your team or make it public, then in that case, you don't have to email it to your team, right? What you can do is you can like right click, you can come over here, you can say shareable links and you can say share over here. Okay, so it will create your shareable link over here, as you can see. All right, and I'll just open this up. Okay, it's taking a bit. And it's done. Okay, so it's saying that created a link and it is copied to your clipboard. Yeah, and this is the link. All right, now I can come over here and I can simply paste the link. All right, and let us see what we have to view over here. And you can see the snippet over here. All right, so this is the entire snippet. You can see like this can be, you can see all the tags, the related links. Okay, no sensitive information detected. And yeah, they can also save this to their pieces if they want to, right? But this way you can generate like public links, shareable links, and share it with your team members. IntelliJ also has this feature where you can right click and you can say share via pieces link. All right, so yeah, it works the same way. So I hope you have been able to follow, and I hope this was useful. So how amazing it would be if you could chat with your code, right? So if you're working on a project or if you have joined a new team and you have been given access to a project and you want to understand which files are there, how the flow is working, how the APIs are being managed, and how everything is flowing. So in that case, you would want to, what normally people do is they copy paste the files into ChatGPT or any equivalent AI tool, and they start asking questions as to how this is working and that is working. But over here, I'm going to show you something different where you don't have to do the copy pasting stuff. And I'll show you how easy it is with Pieces. So what you will do is here, you have to first click over here and switch over to Copilot chats. And we'll create a new chat and we'll collapse the sidebar. All right. Now over here, you can see over here this option, manage conversation context. So with this option, you can set the context of the conversation, which means you can provide context, like you can add any sort of files over here. So if you, let's say you have a few files onto your system, so you can add those files over here by clicking on this icon. Okay, that is one thing you can do. You can add folders, you can add snippets, you can even add a website. So if you want to add websites to give additional context to the AI, you can add those websites, and whatever conversation then you will be having with the model over here, or the AI model, that will be in context to what you have added over here. Okay, so that is what this feature is, and this is really helpful. From here, you can add, I can immediately think of few use cases, like when it comes to folders, I can add my project folders. Okay, and the project folder added once, it will start helping me in context to the files that exist within those folders. All right. So for now, I'll just add a snippet and I'll show you how this works. So let's say I select this code snippet, date formatting with local, and I'll say done over here. Now the context is set over here. You will see this blue dot appear. Okay. If you have any context over here, you can reset the context if you wish to, but you can see there is one snippet being added. You can add multiple contexts simultaneously. You can add websites, folders, and everything. You can even turn on the live context. That is absolutely fine. Now over here, you can ask questions like, what does this snippet do? Okay, so the answer it is going to provide is going to be around that snippet that you have added in the context, and the conversation that you are having is completely around that piece of code that you have added. All right. So this is a very simple example where I've just added a piece of code. Imagine like adding project folders, right? So if you want to see how the authentication flow works in a particular REST API or a particular project, then you can add the project folder and you can ask how is the flow flowing and which are the important methods or functions that I should take a look at to understand these 4 things, right? If you have been added to a new project, and let's say you want to understand which authentication methods the project currently has, like does it have OAuth authentication, does it have GitHub authentication, what all sort of authentication it has, does it have email password based authentication? So rather than going through the code, you can just add the folders over here and you can start chatting and asking questions in those contexts. And the answers that you will be getting will be completely based on those contexts that you have set. All right. And you can reset the context anytime. All right. Also here, what I'll tell you over here is you can also take care of which model you're using. Okay. So if you're worried that, hey, I'll add my code and it will be taken to the cloud and I have a lot of sensitive stuff there, don't worry. Right now I'm making use of cloud models, but if you're not sure, if you don't want to make use of cloud model, you can even make use of on-device models. Okay. And what on-device model will do is it will make sure that the code and all the information is on your device itself and it is never leaving your device. So that is something that you can do. So you can see there are quite a few models like Mistral, Microsoft, and this is memory efficient. Okay, so it will, of course, if you download the models, if you click on this over here, okay, you will be shown 2 models over here along with the system requirements, as you can see. Okay, and depending on your system capacity, you can download the appropriate model. Okay, and it will of course take some storage space on your system, but all the data is on your system itself. And if you're working on a sensitive client project where you don't want anything leaving your system, then too this is really, really helpful. All right, so you can choose between on cloud or on device model for your use case and you can work with it. But right now you can see I'm on GPT-4o, which is an on cloud model over here. So if I click over here, I'm making use of this model over here. Okay, I can even register a custom API key. That's also there. And I can switch to any other model that I wish to. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight on device model over here while giving this information of adding folders as context, because people are generally worried that, hey, if I add the folders over here, you know what, the source code is leaving my system, which is not good. Okay. But yeah, I just wanted to call out this, that you can make use of on-device model to make sure that everything stays onto your system. Now, this live context is not just in the Pieces app. You can even access this functionality over here. So here in IntelliJ, if you come here, okay, where is Copilot? It's over here. So Copilot, I'll just collapse this. Okay. Okay. So here in Copilot, if I go to new conversations, okay, if I can create a new conversation, and here you can see I have an option to set the context. Okay. So I can set the context as per my choice. You can see I can add files, folders, snippets, messages. I can even add messages over here and websites as well. So this is about IntelliJ, but this is also possible in Visual Studio Code over here. Okay, so here in Visual Studio Code, you can select Pieces Copilot first of all from here. All right, and here you can go to a new conversation. Okay, and here you have an option to add context. You can add whichever context you wish to. All right, and depending on what you add, you can chat with it. All right, you can see many different options here. Okay, like the theme you can choose, help, or a new conversation that you wish to have. All right, but yeah, this is about conversation context, and this is really helpful because at times if you're making use of an AI, you might want to set some sort of context and you want to have answers that make sense, right? So it's like some knowledge base that you're giving to the model, and you're working with it then. All right, so yeah, that's about setting context and having contextual conversations with Copilot.